Hello and welcome to today's edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel, and I'm fresh off the Celebrity Apex. I'm a little jacked up on caffeine because we raced all the way back across the state to make it here for today's program. But indeed, we did make it. And guess what? We have a great show lined up for you today with lots of positive things starting to happen in the leisure travel industry. The Celebrity Apex finally had its formal naming ceremony, and it was only 500 plus days late. Now, I was fortunate enough to be on board for this special sailing, and we're going to have a full recap in our Eye on the Industry feature here in just a moment. We'll also discuss CLIA and Celebrity's special announcement and giveaway and how that can benefit you and your agency, as well as a big real estate sale being offered on the Las Vegas Strip. And Princess Cruises is planning a special memorial cruise to honor the late Gavin MacLeod, better known as Captain Stubing from Love Boat fame. We'll touch base on all those stories when we provide some industry insights here in just a moment. Marketing will be our main topic of discussion today in our Meet the Team feature, as Alyssa DeYoung, Marketing Manager for Avoya Travel, joins us to discuss her role, the latest about our amazing best-in-class marketing resource center, as well as learning a few fun facts about Alyssa. And I always look forward to these Q&A discussions. But before we kick off today's show, we need to take a moment and say a big thank you to you and everyone as On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update, celebrates its 1-year anniversary. Yeah, isn't that pretty amazing? A full calendar year has went by, a full spin around the sun. And wow, it sure went by fast, but it's true. A year of episodes of On Deck with Avoya under our belt. And I want to personally thank everyone for their continued support for our program. I want to say a big thank you to all my coworkers and colleagues that have appeared as Meet the Team guests, the members of the Avoya Travel Network who've given up their time freely to be guests for our Meet the Network segment, and of course, the travel industry as a whole for being so welcoming, so accommodating to our requests and for their time during our Meet the Industry segments as well. Now, we have no plans to rest on our laurels and have big plans for year number 2 as we continue to bring you the latest information that a travel professional needs to stay on top of what's happening in our industry, to continue to be a platform for information on Avoya Travel's best-in-class resources, and we continue to bring you timely question and answer sessions with a broad array of Avoya personnel, network members, and of course, our industry friends. So thank you again for your support and positive comments about our little program, and we look forward to a great second year. All right, so now with the formalities out of the way, let's kick off year number 2 and today's On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update with some industry insights and our Eye on the Industry feature. Now, for the last 2 days, I was lucky to be one of many travel industry professionals and dignitaries to sail on the new Celebrity Apex for her formal naming ceremony. For me personally, this was my first time back on a cruise ship since the whole COVID-19 shutdown. In fact, it was 2 years ago in November of 19 was the last time that I had sailed. Now, this ceremony was 20 months overdue again, thanks to COVID-19. The ceremonial godmother for the Celebrity Apex is Reshma Sahujani, the founder of Girls Who Code, a nonprofit organization. She's also a politician and an author of the book Brave, Not Perfect. Miss Sahujani was on hand for the formal naming ceremony and saying it was her first time ever on a cruise ship, and she was just overwhelmed with everything you can do on board. Royal Caribbean Group CEO Richard Fain, Celebrity Cruises CEO Lisa Lutoff-Perlo hosted the event during day 1 of this 2-day sailing out of Port Everglades, Florida. Using the occasion to provide a positive message to the cruise industry as a whole, Lutoff-Perlo emphasized that the comeback will be stronger than the setback. I just love that. After several speeches and blessings from clergy representing multiple faiths, the massive bottle of champagne was triggered from the Apex. It swung, and you can see the results. It smashed up against the ship's hull, and the Apex sailed her maiden voyage this past June in Greece and will now sail alternating West and East Coast Caribbean itineraries. And you can see on the slide again a few of the photos that I was able to capture. We're staying with our friends at Celebrity Cruises because they've teamed up with CLIA, and they had a special announcement again on board the Celebrity Apex, and they're giving away 1,000 cabins to certified travel professionals. This was all part of a special live edition of the Series Seize Today that's put on by Dondra Ritzenholler, the Senior Vice President of Sales, Trade Support, and Service for Celebrity Cruises. And she had as a guest our good friend Charlie Sylvia, elite cruise counselor and CLIA's vice president for trade relations. He was the special guest for this announcement. The announcement read in part that they're celebrating you and our partnership. Celebrity Cruises and CLIA are offering 1,000 cabins to qualified travel advisors, some of which will be on a special seminar at sea that's going to be hosted by Dondra and Charlie at the end of January of next year. It's going to be on the brand new Revolutionize that kind of brought it into dry dock and done some amazing things to the Millennium. It's going to be a 3-night sailing. Now, in order to qualify either for the free cruise or attend that largest ever seminar at sea, you have to be a current CLIA member, either be enrolled in the CLIA certification program or have at least achieved one or more of the levels, have sold at least one new celebrity cruise stateroom within the specified booking and sailing window, and the travel advisor must be from the United States or Canada. And sorry to our friends in Quebec and Puerto Rico, sadly, you're excluded from that. CLIA or Celebrity Cruises are your best point of contact for all of the information on this new giveaway. And again, I just want to point out this is not an Avoya Travel sponsored giveaway. We're only passing the story along for informational purposes. MGM Resorts International CEO Bill Hornbuckle said during the company's Q3 earnings call on Wednesday that MGM is in the early stages to sell operations for the Mirage Resort from the famous Las Vegas Strip. In a letter to colleagues, Hornbuckle said selling the Mirage was best for the long-term success of the property. He said the Mirage is a world-class iconic property with unique attractions that's ripe for continued investment and development. It'll be the crown jewel in another operator's portfolio, which is why we believe a sale makes sense at this time. On the Strip, MGM owns and operates many iconic properties, including the Bellagio, the Mandalay Bay, MGM Grand, the Aria, and it's slated to begin operating the Cosmopolitan next year. And finally, in a story reported by Travel Weekly, Princess Cruises are going to host a special Love Boat themed cruise this February, featuring the original ensemble cast and celebrating the life of the late Gavin MacLeod. MacLeod, who played Captain Merle Steubing on the long-running TV series, sadly passed away in May at the age of 90. The 7-day cruise on the Majestic Princess will sail round trip from the port of Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera, very reminiscent of the sailings they used to do on the original show. And that's going to take place from the 26th to March 5th. Jill Whelan, who played Captain's daughter of Vicky Steubing on the series and is a Princess Cruise Celebrations ambassador herself, will be joined by fellow Love Boat cast members who had played Julie McCoy, the cruise director, Doc, the ship's doctor, Gopher, and of course, Isaac. Yeah, that's right. The famous bartender will be back as well. The cast will share their favorite memories from the show, participate in various guest activities, and celebrate MacLeod, who served as a brand ambassador for Princess Cruises for more than 35 years. And for people of a certain age, like my age, the Love Boat was a must-watch every Saturday night. As we move forward with this week's edition of On Deck with Avoya, it is time once again for one of my favorite segments, the Meet the Team segment, where we get to introduce you to another Avoya team member who helps facilitate Avoya Travel's best-in-class resources. Those resources have fueled Avoya Travel to being the #1 host agency, as voted by the travel industry, for 6, I always get this confused when you're doing the live, but for 6 consecutive years. And guess what? We're up for #7 next week when the Travel Awards are given out in Miami Beach. Today's special guest is Alyssa DeYoung, marketing manager for Avoya Travel. Alyssa will be joining me in just a moment for an exciting Q&A. And of course, we hope to hear from you. We hope you hear something that sparks your interest, because we'd love to connect with you and put you in touch with one of our network expansion specialists to answer all of your questions and provide all of the details on our elite program. So with that being said, let's welcome in our special Meet the Team guest today, Alyssa DeYoung, marketing manager for Avoya Travel. Alyssa, welcome to On Deck with Avoya.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Alyssa, before we jump into your role as marketing manager for Avoya Travel, I wanted to first find out a little bit about your background and how you ended up working with Avoya Travel.
Sure. Yeah. So I got my degree in marketing, and I also was working for a couple other companies in marketing for about 2 to 3 years before getting to Avoya. And what I was looking for when I was looking for a new job was somewhere that like sold a product or worked with a product that I truly loved and enjoyed myself. And when I found Avoya, and the product is travel. I was sold, and yeah, I've loved it since.
Now, growing up, Alyssa, was travel something that was important to you and your family?
Yeah, I would say it was pretty important, more so on the side of either just spending quality time with our family. For example, we would almost on an annual basis go down to San Felipe, Mexico, and I would go with my extended family, so aunts, uncles, cousins, and it was just several days of just quality time with all of those family members, and that created some of my best childhood memories, definitely. And then the other part was learning the history of the destination. My dad is actually a history teacher, so that's something that he found very important and valuable, whether we liked it or not, growing up, to go to those historical landmarks or to learn about those places that we were visiting.
I bet when it was happening, it was like, oh, Dad, not another history lesson. But now that you look back on it, you must be so fortunate and grateful for those experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. As a child, I think you don't quite understand the value of that. But yeah, as I've grown up, for sure, I definitely see the value now.
Let's jump into a little bit about your current role, Alyssa, as manager of Avoya Travel, marketing manager for Avoya Travel. What kind of projects do you and your team typically work on?
So I mostly oversee the consumer side of email and social media, but it does also intertwine with some of the marketing that is done for IAs or on behalf of our travel agents. So the emails that are sent to consumers, those are all created and sent by us. All of the Avoya Travel consumer facing social media accounts, that's all done by my team as well. But if you were to choose to opt in your personal clients to receive emails, that is something that my team works on. We have weekly newsletters. We have we call it a vacation countdown series. It's actually currently paused, but that is something else that we work on. And we also send out another weekly email with multiple suppliers in it. And then in addition to that, I also help with our marketing resource center. So we help to create and upload usable email templates for our travel agents.
So many things that go hand in hand with Avoya Travel's shared success philosophy, and it leads me to my next question. One of the resources that Avoya Travel really focused on when the whole COVID crisis really set in March, April of 2020 was effective marketing so that our affiliates could stay top of mind and generate engagement with their clients in the form of our best-in-class marketing resource center. Now, as with all things that Avoya does, all of our resources really are always kind of a work in progress, always striving to improve, always trying to generate even better results. So I'm excited to ask you about the Marketing Resource Center because we just get so many great bits of feedback about that and some of the amazing new enhancements that are taking place. Alyssa, can you give us an update on what's happening with the Marketing Resource Center right now?
Absolutely. So we initially uploaded all of these assets from social media to email to flyers in there, and we've been updating that as we go. But we did receive some feedback from the agencies in our network that they wanted some stuff that either had less of the Avoya Travel network branding or something that they could add their own branding to. So we did a couple things to help with that. So the first thing was we made 2 versions of all of our Avoya created assets where they could be downloadable with the Avoya Travel Network logo or without. So, if you don't want to show that affiliation in the email, that's taken out, and then you can personalize if it's an email and add in your agency name, your phone number, and so on. And then the other big thing that we did was now you can put in requests to have your agency logo or agency name added to our assets. So that is something that's done through an email request to our creative services team, and then they'll work with you to figure out which assets that you want that added to and exactly what you want on there, whether that's including the Avoya Travel Network logo, if that's without, things like that. And then we'll update those assets and send them back to you to use as you'd like.
I mean, the Marketing Resource Center was a game changer, and here we are changing the game again, because this is really, just amazing. And for a lot of people listening, they're probably like, who are not part of the Avoya Travel Network, they're like, what? Avoya Travel does what? My host doesn't do anything like that. So if you reach out and you get engaged with one of the specialists on my team, we can even give you a demonstration. So all the things that Alyssa's talking about, you can kind of get top of mind and kind of get a look and see, because you're going to be blown away. Again, it's just at a level that most people just can't even comprehend. Alyssa DeYoung, Marketing Manager for Avoya Travel, is our featured Meet the Team guest today. Alyssa, how do you see these enhancements benefiting those in the Avoya Travel Network? And are you getting some great feedback already from the network?
Yes, so far it's been a pretty big hit. All of our agents seem to be very excited about it. The benefits I see is it really gives you the flexibility to personalize it for yourself and your agency. So whether that's, what you want to show that you're affiliated with the Avoya Travel Network, you want that branding up front, or you don't, that flexibility is there. Or if you want it to be more about your agency and have that front and center, that's there as well. It's all about making it work for you and what you want to present to your clients.
Because at the end of the day, you run your agency the way you see fit. And as we always say at Avoya Travel, as long as it's done with integrity and professionalism. And I was in a meeting the other day, and I had a sneak peek of some of the things that are happening. And again, we are pushing the envelope one more time. Amazing stuff. Alyssa, one last question about your work role before we ask a few fun facts about you. 2022 and beyond is really starting to look promising for the future and the rebound of leisure travel. In your opinion, what can effective marketing and access to best-in-class marketing materials do to help an agency sell and capture their share of that expected travel boom?
So I think the biggest thing is keeping yourself top of mind. If you're consistently communicating, whether that's through personalized emails or that's just posting consistently to your social accounts, having clients see that either you value them and you're reaching out to them all the time, or that you are active and you're ready and you're there for them. I think that's going to, when they're thinking about booking their vacation, you're going to come first to mind. So that's, I think, the most important thing there. Just making sure that you're being consistent and making sure the customer knows you're there when they're ready.
And it all fits into all of the resources offered by Avoya Travel. I mean, what you can do in the Marketing Resource Center really goes hand in hand with some of the skill sets and best practices that you can help develop by being part of the Mastermind program, by participating with your brand sales specialist, with the technology that we have. It all just kind of, one fuels the other. So I really think this new enhancement with the Marketing Resource Center is really going to have just fantastic results. And of course, we have the business intelligence reports to be able to pull, to be able to actually see how effective some of these things are. So great stuff there. Alyssa, outside of work, what kind of fun things do you like to do to kind of keep yourself busy? I understand you have a love of interior design. Did you take advantage of COVID time to rearrange your personal space a bunch?
Yes, so I do love interior design. I actually took classes in it, but decided to keep going on with marketing. But I did take advantage of that. I actually moved to a new house last year, so I had plenty of space to revamp. So there was actually my home office is kind of like my most recent project, but the one room I really like from top to bottom redid was our guest bathroom. So I repainted, I changed out the fixtures, I put stuff on the wall, like I did everything, and that was a really great fun actually weekend project. So, and I plan to keep doing more. It just takes some time.
Yeah, as soon as you finish, you can just go back to the beginning and just start fresh all over again, right?
Yeah.
So you added a new home and then new member of the family too, right? You adopted a dog recently. How's that going?
Yes, it's been great. Her name is Penny. So we adopted her at, I think, about 2 months at the very, very beginning of the pandemic when everything was shut down. And that actually turned out to be a great choice for us because we've been able to spend valuable time with her, give her proper training. So I'm really grateful that it kind of worked out that I was at home at the same time and she's gone to spend a lot of quality time with us without us being gone for hours of the day. And yeah, she's doing really great. She is finally getting out of her puppy phase. She's starting to grow up and become a more relaxed dog. So that's great.
I bet it is. What about future trips or destinations that you'd really love a chance to visit? Anything really high on the list when you get a chance to get back out there and start exploring?
Yes, Europe, pretty much anywhere in Europe has been at the top of my list for the longest time. Specifically, Italy would be my number one choice. I'm Italian myself, and I would just really love to go visit like the town that my great grandpa grew up in and explore other parts of the country as well. And then I would also say Australia and New Zealand are at the top of my bucket list as well.
I mean, Italy has so much history, and with your dad, being a history professor, it seems like a good fit.
Yep.
Alyssa, before we let you go, any advice that you would offer to those thinking of joining the Avoya Travel Network on why they should at least reach out and start the conversation and get more details?
Yeah, I do think that there is great value in best of class marketing and really knowing that the marketing that's available to you is going to be effective. And I think that's something that Avoya really brings. We have, from the Marketing Resource Center where we have these easy to use assets available at your fingertips. Then we also do a lot of the marketing for you and bring you high value leads. So I think, that saves you time that, it brings great value. So I would really consider that when you're trying to make that choice.
Perfect point to make. Absolutely. Alyssa DeYoung, marketing manager for Avoya Travel. Alyssa, thank you again for your time and for that great discussion today.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate having you here on Deck with Avoya. And next week here on Deck with Avoya, I'm headed back across the state one more time because it's the final major trade show of the year, Cruise World in Miami Beach, Florida. And you can join us next Thursday as we explore the trade show floor, bring you a bird's eye view of this major industry event. And of course, we're going to recap the Travie Awards because they'll have happened the night before at that same industry event. And fingers crossed that Avoya Travel comes home with Host Agency of the Year number 7. That would be fantastic. All right, so let me talk for a second about our New to Travel program, because if you're new to the industry, if you're hearing some of these conversations and you're like, wow, I'd really like to find out more. Is this something that I could be a part of? Is it possible for me to build a business in this day and age from the ground up? Well, reach out and start the conversation because Avoya Travel has some of the most amazing resources available to help you get from that entry-level spot and start moving up the various rungs of the ladder to build a really successful business, gain access to marketing, technology, support, education, and so much more. You get to be your own boss. You set your own hours. And let me tell you, travel and lifestyle go hand in hand. And I heard that time and time again these last couple of days on the Celebrity Apex. Will help you with everything you need to know to get your new business up and running. And we haven't forgotten about our established travel professionals, because you can take your agency to the next level. Are you an experienced advisor or travel agency owner? Are you just thinking that where you are right now just isn't offering enough? You'd like to find out what else is out there. Maybe you'd like to find out about Avoya Travel's exclusive live lead program. Maybe you hear about the Marketing Resource Center and you're like, I'd like to have a little piece of that. Well, reach out and start the conversation, because we would love to put you in touch with a network expansion specialist. They can answer all your questions. They can tell you our story. We can set up a demonstration to get a sneak peek of that technology and see if the resources that Avoya Travel offers its affiliates make sense for you and your business. And together we can put together a shared success story, because we have so many successful shared success stories out there, and we would love for yours to be one more. So reach out and start that conversation. And how do you reach out to us? Well, there's so many ways, and we're adding a brand new way right there. You see is it the QR code? I'm so I mean, I'm not the smartest technology guy in the world. Thank goodness for Avoya Travel because they make technology so easy. But my email's up there, chris.green@avoyatravel.com. That's the phone number. You can always reach out to us at avoyanetwork.com. And if you're either watching this live or you go back on Facebook or on YouTube, one of the places that we upload these programs, and you put your camera up against that QR code, boom, you're going to be able to pop up all sorts of amazing information on Avoya Travel. But again, we just want to hear from you. We want to share our story. 50 plus years as a family-owned company, over 30 years as an affiliate in the American Express Travel Network, consistently known in the industry as the host agency where the agents sell more, make more, generate more sales, more commissions, a shared success platform together. Let's just have a conversation and see where it leads. So thank you again for being part of our first episode of year number 2 here on Deck with Avoya. A big thank you to Alyssa DeYoung for being my special guest today. Don't forget, we'll be in Miami Beach at Cruise World next week for that special edition. A big thank you to Marissa Smith for producing our segment, and I hope you have a wonderful week, everyone.